friends, welcome back to Creature Crossing. Thank you so much for coming back to check out the latest video. Today, you guys, we're gonna get started on this whole transitional thing that I'm trying to do on Valencia Island. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and check out this video right here explaining what's going on this island and what I'm trying to do with it, and then come back for this current video. And if that's a little too confusing, just like watch all of my videos and that works too. Okay, without any more ado, let us play. Alright, so you guys may have noticed at the end of the last video, I started like clearing out all of the items, anything I could get my hands on. I just kind of started tearing all this down. Now, I am a flattener. When I finish an island theme, I flatten my island. I do not restart it. So I think that my habitual flattening just kind of took over. I was like, oh, this island has to change. I'm just going to start, you know, flattening it. That's not what we want to do. We want to think about things before we start to destroy them. So welcome to the 5 a.m. hour. I don't know how much of the music you guys can hear. Hopefully it's not too loud. But this is such a chill time frame in the game, like 5 a.m. through like 7 a.m. So if I'm really going to do a lot of construction and I'm going to actually listen to game audio and stuff personally and also on the channel, I just love doing it in the early morning hours because it's so cozy. Okay, so if you guys remember, our plan is to build a like shopping district that is specifically a long horizontal strip, not like a big chunk, not a big square. I need it to be a strip here at the front of the island because I need all of the space I can get to restructure the neighborhood that exists behind said shopping district. So really what I need to figure out today and what I've brought you guys along for is how do I set up my entrance? I want to center it, which I pretty much have with this layout here. The unfortunate reality is that centering it means that the kind of access placement is up to the front of resident services, which I cannot move, right? So the question is, do I actually want you to come into the entrance and head straight into resident services? Or do I want to figure something else out? What we could do is make this area like a courtyard, but go ahead and have like some buildings really close to the beach here. So I just have a lot of decisions to make. I have a lot of things to figure it out. And as you can see, I just started going to town, even kicking up some code. And I was like, wait. Let's think about this first. So let me go ahead and put my entrance back together a little bit so that I have a place to start from that's not too chaotic. Let's go ahead and get rid of these trees. I really want just full accessibility to this whole space. I need to figure out how close buildings are gonna get to the actual beach and the airport. If this road, this street is going to stay here, and kind of what I'm gonna do in terms of a courtyard or sidewalks or how I kind of want this access to go. Now, I told you guys in the last video that the inspiration is from the little city strip that you have at the back of New Leaf, where all of the stores and shops and clubs and things are hanging out. And so that had a very specific kind of aesthetic, and it was a little bit generic, in my opinion. So if I'm gonna hold to this kind of suburban neighborhood aesthetic that I have going on here, I'm gonna have to use my brain a little bit. But I mean, guys, this is a figure this out video. I don't know how much progress we're actually gonna make today. I am honestly considering putting in a train track to emulate what was going on in New Leaf. You know what I mean? Like, it could be really cute if maybe you just straight up crossed a train track and then entered into a little bit of a courtyard, and then you had access to these buildings on either side. We're just at ground zero, and I really have to figure out what I'm doing with this. If you guys remember also, I have a deadline for all of this. I need to get this done in just under 2 months, build a shopping district, and restructure the entire neighborhood. So like, it's go time. I've got to figure this out. Okay, let's make a decision about these buildings, because at the end of the day, everything's gonna get built around the shops, right? And I want to do a bit of a shopping strip. Now, even though I want to do a horizontal layout, that does not mean that the buildings have to be right next to each other. If we were going to do that, I would just come up to resident services, I would measure out an equal amount of tiles, and I would just line up Nook's Cranny and the Able Sisters and the museum in like a straight line. I don't necessarily want to do that. I think having a little variation in placement would be beneficial in terms of aesthetics. So like, say I put Nook's Cranny right here, kind of forward of resident services, and then we put like Able Sisters right here, also forward of resident services. And then I was thinking if we did something like that where we pulled the buildings down here closer to the beach, I could use this outside corner to put like the campsite on one side, you know what I'm saying? Okay, decisions, decisions, decisions. I'm gonna say no to the train track because we are right next to the airport. If I'm honest with myself, it would not make sense to have a train going right here. Although, I guess there are, like, trams and stuff at some airports. Oh gosh, I was so sure for like 2 seconds. There could be a bit of like a loading platform and a train, but and then where's the train gonna go? Okay, that actually sounds really cute in my brain. There's no way that I randomly have a train track custom design code available. We're gonna have to go get one. Until we do that, let's use this. Let's use this like snow code. So you're gonna come off of the entrance. You need a little bit of space to like exist. And then what if we did the train track like right here? And then do I want all of this to be the loading platform? So this pathing right here has been measured to be like completely balanced at the front. Unfortunately, the airport entrance is just a little bit off to the left. I'm thinking I want to have like a landing platform, and then I want to have an elevation, so I might push the track up a little bit. So there's like a ridge here, so it looks like the ground is elevated just a smidge, and then we'll put the train track on top of that. And then honestly, the train has to go all the way across unless I come up with some really brilliant way to make it disappear. We could have the train go into some cliffs. As of this moment, there is 0 terraforming on this island. There are no water features or no cliffs of any kind. We could build some cliffs that give the illusion that the train tracks like go into a cave or a tunnel of a sort, so that I don't feel like I need to support the track like with too much space, but then we'll have a cliff to figure out the use of, right? So this is gonna be an adventure. Alright guys, ask and you shall receive. I just went and grabbed some codes really quickly. So I grabbed this one. This is not what I meant by a ledge, and now that I'm looking at it, I don't think it's gonna give the impression I actually want. Let's see how it looks with, yes, an actual train track. She's very efficient when she puts her mind to things. Okay, so it's a little bit elevated. It does kind of give the impression. Now we have snow on the ground, which I think makes things a little bit more difficult to show clearly in this way. But this is kind of what I'm thinking. So we'll have this little landing area. We will have a crossing here. And then we'll try the actual ground ledge on the other side. And yeah, I have decisions to make about the double pathing. So I have some in-game path under here because obviously I was wanting certain things to be highlighted on my map. So decisions will have to be made about whether I keep that or not. Now let's try this ledge and see if it looks a little bit better. Again, my only goal here is just to lift the track off of the flat ground a little bit with a bit of a 3D illusion. So that's all I'm kind of going for here. And surprisingly enough, I think I'm liking this stone version better. And I think it's doing a better job of just kind of pushing the track up. And then I think it helps that it's kind of closer. The code is on the top of the tile instead of the bottom, so it's a little bit closer to the track code as well. So we will roll with that one, no pun intended. Ooh, and when I put these 2 tiles back down, do you see how they meet up with the ledge? I think that helps the illusion a little bit. Very cool. Okay, so we have this whole situation. Now, what I'm thinking is to put lampposts in the corners, but I want to do maybe rope fence. Let me get a fence out. Okay, and then decisions have to be made about these lampposts. Now, as you guys can see, I used the round street lamp instead of the traditional one on this island, and then I customized it to the white, and that was really just to reflect that this is a winter island. You can see that the crosswalk signals are also white, and I'm wondering if I hurt myself a little bit by making everything so light to reflect a winter theme that I took away some texture and some dynamicism. So I want to use a couple of different options here. I actually maybe want to go back to the traditional street lamp, but first let's just test these out because these are the ones that I have. We'll see where the game lets me put the fence first of all, but I'm wondering if the fence could sit in this little strip of land that's kind of empty now, or if it's going to have to go on top of the tiles. So let's see what the game will allow me to do. Okay, it goes right next to the train track. We'll do different depths on both sides to see how we feel about it. I'm not hating this. I don't hate it. I didn't want to separate the train track. I wanted to frame the platform. So this wasn't quite what I wanted this fence to do. Let's see what it looks like if we put it. And oh, I hate this so much. Like when you have a code and the fence just lands right in the middle of it, and it feels kind of wonky. Maybe one day we'll have a little bit more freedom with our placement. Okay, so this is framing out the platform more, which I'm fine with. And honestly, as far as this platform goes, The only thing I'm worried about is maybe doing like an ABD kiosk so it looks a little bit like a ticket kiosk, or possibly like a bench of some kind so like you get off the plane and you've got your baggage. How much I wish we had like luggage items in this game that I could put out here. That would be so great. Yeah, it's literally just like you arrive, you take a breath, and then you board your train. Now, I have a really crazy thought right now, and the universe knows I don't have room for this, but now that we're building like a train track, okay, stay with me. What if we had 2 trains going opposite directions? Can we do that? Because you might be going one way or the other. Okay, I wasn't planning on building a train station, but here we are. Let me carry on with this fencing really quickly. So just based on spacing, I don't have to have fence on this bottom layer here. It's just a thought. Especially right here, because I would like to block off the beach entirely. It would be great if no one could like sneak through. But I am seeing just how cramped things are getting when I do that, so we won't commit to having that. And then if I end up just framing this, if I end up just framing this all out in fence, I'm gonna have to figure out the design codes, the pathing that is, a little bit. But let's see how it feels if we just kind of wrap everything around. Because I'm kind of leaning towards this because of the space it's going to give me. But at the same time, that looks so awkward. Like, what a huge gap, right? Between the lampposts and the fence. And then I realize, I hear you guys saying, just line up the light with the fence. Like, I hear you. Okay, is this fixing anything? I mean, at the end of the day, the path might just have to extend a little bit more, but that kind of defeats the purpose. I can see both of these working. I can see this more open version of this working, and I can see this more closed off version of this working. So I'm not sure where to go from here, but let me run with the idea of having another train. And then, yeah, of course, we're gonna grab like the plaza train or whatever our options are. I think that's all we have. This is not the code I wanted to put here. And then what's cool about this is if we, oh my gosh, you guys, I just figured it out. Oh my gosh, I just figured it out. Okay, resident services, this is our train station, yo. Because look at how this is working out. The trains, this is a crosswalk, and it's leading right to the middle of resident services. So this whole like area can essentially become a big train station. Is that ridiculous? Right next to the airport? Kind of, but I'm digging it. I'm actually digging it. So let me be crazy here and let's at least match what's going on each side. So I have basically 3 tiles of platform here. I'm gonna want 3 tiles in the middle, and then we're gonna need 3 tiles on this side. So let me drop another layer of this sidewalk tile and see where it takes us. Guys, it's kind of perfect. I don't know how this has magically happened. I mean, all my pre-measuring is coming back to help me out here. So 3 tiles deep on this end, 3 tiles deep a platform here, and then 3 tiles deep on this platform here. So again, it doesn't need to be 3 tiles deep in the middle, but this is my symmetry brain just telling me this is what needs to happen. Also, it'll be a balanced way to fill the space between the entrance and resident services, which, friendly reminder, I can't move. Do anything useful with. So here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna keep messing with this. I think we should have crosswalk signals kind of helping us safely navigate these train tracks, and we will put more fence down. And to be completely honest with you, I'm kind of leaning towards the fence being up against the track here. Since it's a rope fence and you can very much see through it, I feel like you're still getting the impression of the elevation of the track while still having the fence there. But like, I'm saying that out loud and I'm not believing myself. So let me do this real quick again. Oh my god. And maybe we do something different with the lamps. We'll probably put them in just a different spot. Okay, you can't actually walk through here, so that makes me feel a little bit better. And yes, there are a lot of different fence options that might look a little bit fancier, but I just love the rope fence for any kind of travel themed moments. So of course it's perfect for like a pier or an overlook or something like that, but I think it can also work for this space. So that just makes more actual sense. And then I've got to do it over here too. Let's see how it all looks layered together. All right, guys, what do we think of this? This feels like a bit of a train station to me. Obviously there are different kinds, different places will look a little bit different, but I feel like this works really well as basically a loading platform to get on your train, and then we'll grab our actual trains and we'll kind of set them up going in opposite directions. I will clean up some of this double pathing so we can see that there is stone path under here, so I need to get that up, and then I will probably cut this off entirely. We'll just have this very balanced entrance that is all exactly the same width and same size. These are our platforms, right? Leading up to resident services. And then I think what I'll do is I'll use resident services as a landing point, and then we will access the rest of the shopping district off of the sides of resident services. I think this will be very much a train station. We'll find some really cute decor to put in the area to make it feel right. We'll get our train set up, the whole shebang. We'll fix our code. So a little bit of an expansion on that idea of Animal Crossing New Leaf crossing the train tracks to get to the little strip of whatever. I guess we'll just start calling it shopping district. I don't know what it was called in New Leaf. Town Square? Town Hall? I don't know, but you get off a plane and then you get on a train. Okay, this is actually, I'm kind of excited about this. My concern is very obvious. Spacing. I was thinking I was gonna put like actual buildings right here, but we've built this train station instead, which I'm kind of in love with at the moment. So I'm gonna separate all of this off, and then we need to figure out how we are going to build access off of resident services in a way that makes sense. So my default, and I do use resident services as the center of a shopping district, you know, fairly often. So it's definitely not rocket science or anything super original, but normally I do like a centered exit just like this. And I'm kind of thinking it would make more sense to maybe extend the plaza a little bit and just have it open. So like, don't forget, this is all gonna go away. We're gonna just completely cut this all off, so there'll be no access. You have to get off the plane and get on the train, or just cross over to resident services. So this will not have access to it. We'll do some trees or something cute, and I mean, obviously we've got to build off of the tracks themselves, and then maybe I'll do that tunnel idea where I build a cliff and we can kind of pretend that the train is coming in and out of like a tunnel of some kind. But basically the shopping district for a minute, I'm not sure for how long, would just be cut off. So let's grab some more fence so we can keep kind of this layout in our brain. Now this is what I love about flattening, is that I can start with a completely clean slate and build off of it. This is kind of breaking my brain to do this with all of this existing code and pathing and like structure to figure this out with all this other stuff already going on. But say we like extend resident services plaza, or we could even do something really cute, like we could put a little water feature here and build a bridge or something. I want something more exciting and interesting than just like a path leading to the next building. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a challenge to figure out what that is, but we can definitely get it in our brains that like this is where stuff is gonna get cut off, and then we're gonna build behind this line, at least until it makes sense to bring any buildings kind of down towards the beach. So we already have, at this point, booted, with this layout, we have booted 4 houses easy. So these 4 houses in the bottom left corner of the map are gonna have to find a home back up. It might be easier than I think. I could honestly probably put them where the museum is. I could almost like swap that out entirely. It'd be a little bit tight, but I could do that. The museum is obviously going to come down and play a part in the shopping district. That scares me a little bit. That scares me a little bit, because my whole focus has been, right, make equal balanced spaces for all of these houses. The neighborhood has honestly been the point up until now, so it's a little scary to go off the reservation and be like, okay, we're going to build a train station and then we're going to shove all the houses behind a shopping district. Okay, this is not a bad start at all. Hopefully you guys can kind of see the vision. You understand where I'm going with this. I have a deadline, so I have to keep working on the island without you, but I will definitely bring you in for updates and get you guys the latest progress reports in the Let's Play videos to come. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, you guys. This is so cute. Now, I have 2 questions, okay? Please put it in the comments. Should I switch to the normal street lamp instead of the round one? And should I do black or brown? It is a winter island. I chose white to keep it consistent, but I feel like we need to bring a little bit of color in. Also, the trains that I'm going to use are not going to be like the pastel trains. They're going to be probably the darker black ones. So keep that in mind too. We actually build trains out here. They're going to be a darker color, and probably if I do benches and stuff, they're going to be a darker color. So that's it from me today. Thank you guys for coming along on this chaotic journey of change to this island. Again, check out all the videos in this playlist as they are posted. It'll help you keep track of what's going on with the island theme and kind of what our trajectory is for the project. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video.